Hello everyone, this is Inventor King Bobtail. As we welcome the new year, and to become a new and better version of myself, I decided to buckle down and start studying. But my desk is so messy that I can't even focus. So first, I'll clean up my desk. Then I thought, maybe I could clean the desk automatically. So here's what I did. I added a pneumatic cylinder and a control circuit along with a switch to my desk, so that with the press of a single button, everything clears at once. That's how I built my blow-up reset desk.
But where's my book?
Watching my messy desk get completely cleared with just one button is so incredibly satisfying. It feels so refreshing, like I can accomplish anything. Hold on, the desk is clean and tidy, but how did the floor become such a mess? Huh? What's this? Oh right, I got a mission from the Samsung Semiconductor newsroom to explain the principle of DRAM in a simple way. I totally forgot about it. So I looked up DRAM and learned that if you leave it alone or turn off the power, the data disappears. It's volatile memory, and I found out that it has to keep working constantly to maintain that data. Considering that my blow-up reset desk also makes everything placed on top disappear, so maybe you could call this a volatile desk too. If I use this idea, I think I can complete the mission of explaining DRAM in a simple and easy way.
So today, I'm going to make this desk into a DRAM desk, where its work environment will only be maintained by constantly moving it.
Alright, I finished building this DRAM table that makes it easy to explain how DRAM works. Let me show you step by step how I constructed this. This hose right here is filled with water. When I think back to science class, electricity was often compared to water. So the water being filled represents electrical charge or data in a semiconductor. And the water doesn't just flow in on its own. It passes through this valve and distributor and then into these plastic containers. But these aren't just ordinary plastic containers. What was it called? I actually used a Marimo fish tank for this. Anyway, these 12 acrylic containers represent capacitors that store data. And this is precisely the DRAM cell. I built this as a physical model of that concept. Anyway, when water flows in through the hose, this distributor will evenly disperse it among the 12 cells, causing the water level inside each container to rise. That's the principle. When water comes in through this hose, oh, it's coming! It doesn't just stop there. It also detects the height of the water. The two sensors, making up a dual float switch system, consist of a short sensor and a long one. The short sensor is designed to detect when the water level just begins to slightly drop, triggering the vibration motor to activate with a warning. It tells you the water level is dropping! And the long sensor detects when the water runs out completely. When that happens, there's a solenoid attached to the side of the container. I really struggled and spent an insane amount of time designing and creating this, so when it detects there's no water, don't be surprised. Whew! This plate rises, causing a total system crash that obliterates charge, data, and essentially everything else, thereby rendering the device entirely useless. I configured 12 such mechanisms to do that. Oh, and there's a drain hole at the bottom of these plastic containers. The water that leaks out through the holes at the bottom of the acrylic containers represents leakage current, something that naturally happens and can't be avoided. But why would I drill a hole in this perfectly good plastic container and go through all the trouble of filling it with water? Because that's just how DRAM works. Inside a DRAM, there are hundreds of millions of tiny rooms called capacitors that store data. Think of each one as a little container that holds charge. If it's filled with charge, that's a 1. If it's empty, that's a 0. The point is the charge stored in the capacitor inevitably leaks over time, and if you leave it alone, it'll eventually drain away completely, which means your data basically evaporates. So before all the water drains out through the holes, I have to keep refilling it, right? In semiconductors, that process is called refresh. But in real DRAM, refresh isn't just fill everything up. It restores what was a 1 back to 1 and what was a 0 back to 0. So this desk physically recreates that same principle. So if I run this table right now, the water rushes in and you can actually see DRAM in action. So what do you think of the principle? It's not too difficult, right? To vividly demonstrate that fundamental principle to you, I'm going to initiate a challenge right here. In this plastic container setup, a full container with water signifies a 1, while an empty one represents a 0. However, for the convenience and flow of today's challenge, let's proceed under the assumption that all the data cells are initially filled with the 1 value. So, what exactly is our challenge for today? We're going to be stacking dominoes. Why dominoes, you ask? Because these plastic containers are filled with charge. That means we've got 1 data. To make that more visually engaging and enjoyable for you all to see, I'm going to stack some domino data right on top of it, right here. This will help you understand it better. But the water, meaning the charge, in these containers slowly leaks away. To replenish that, you need to perform a refresh. To perform this refresh on the DRAM table, you must press a button. But where exactly is this button? Wow. To express how busy, fast, and arduously this DRAM operates, observe this device they've affixed to the ceiling. Yeah, I believe I can directly demonstrate and let you experience just how incredibly fast and intensely busy DRAM really is. I'm going to start the domino stacking challenge on this DRAM table right now. First, I'm going to create a leakage current by letting the water trickle out very slowly. Can you hear that sound? Whoa, it's draining a bit too quickly, isn't it? Hold on, refresh. Okay, I'm refreshing now, and with the siren and all, it's pretty chaotic. Right now, I'm completely unable to do anything. This actually occurs in real DRAM as well. It's known as refresh overhead. During refresh, the DRAM cannot write or read, leading to effects such as extended latency and higher power consumption. And I'm experiencing that right now. Given the current situation, though it's quite chaotic, I'm confident that I can manage to stack these dominoes successfully. However, if I get completely absorbed in the dominoes, I might not notice the water level gradually dropping, and then the whole plate could come crashing down, hitting those dominoes. Okay, how's the water level? No way! This one seems to be losing a lot of water. So, if I don't have to refresh it as often, I could stack more dominoes much quicker than before, but that also means a bigger risk of losing data. And right now, my risk is very high. I can't think straight. Ah! Oh, 잠깐만. Wait, oh no, warning, warning, warning. Yeah. So, if an error occurs in such a sensitive DRAM, forget about saving data. Everything's toast. What am I going to do? Did you all understand the mission from the Samsung Semiconductor newsroom? Just as DRAM recharges its power supply dozens of times per second to protect data, you too should try building this DRAM desk, which demands swifter and more active movements from you than anyone else.